Hello and welcome to Filmy Ladies. We are celebrating today the 50th anniversary, can you believe it, of Kabhi Kabhie.
Yay!
1976 for Beth is a great year for films, so I hope to sprinkle in a few more 70s classics into, some of the anniversaries we might note. Pitu was like, "Oh, what's turning 10 years old or 15 years old and or 20 years old?" I was like, "No, no, 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 we're going further back." I didn't like this on the rewatch. I am shocked to say, because in my head I
Oh,
enjoy this movie. I was very impatient and it felt like a pastiche of all his other films, and I was
okay.
very annoyed. Uh, but I know this is a significant film, so we're going to talk about it anyway. What was
Mhm.
your feeling upon rewatching?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay,
But also this would not be like my only rewatch or something. I
sure.
the amount of times I've seen this movie because we owned it on VHS in Nigeria because like my parents really loved it.
Mhm.
And as a kid, I would watch the songs. Like often I wouldn't sit through a whole movie, but I would ask my parents to put a cassette in for me, like Silsila or Kabhi Kabhi or Karz or whatever, because I wanted to watch the videos. And I would just forward until I got to a video. And Kabhi Kabhi also plays a lot in India on TV. So
Mm.
if it's like playing at some point, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll watch a few minutes. I'll watch like half an hour or something like that. So I've just seen it so many times that at this point, like I feel like I know this movie really well, and I enjoy it every time I see it. There's one thing about this movie that always really takes me out of it and puzzles me, and it will never stop puzzling me because I just think it's silly. But other than that, I really enjoy it. So
Oh,
go
should we
ahead.
put in a spoiler alert and then say what that is that annoys you?
No, I mean, it's not even a spoiler at this point. It's like, and I'll ask you if you know the answer to this question. Okay. So this movie, yes, it's a 50-year-old movie, but it's technically begins with sort of like a flashback or it travels. So we see what is a contemporary couple, which is Rocky and Amitabh Bachchan, and they fall in love, blah, 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 whatever. But they're dressed in all of these 70s
Yes! It's
costumes.
supposed to be 1956, like at the latest. Look at them. It is not 1956. It's
Exactly.
very frustrating.
Exactly. And like if you just watch the songs of Kabhi Kabhi, you won't get that, right? Like if you just watch
Sure.
the songs, you're like, oh yeah, he's in bell bottoms, she's in a sharara, her hair is like this, and it makes sense. And then but then the movie forwards 20 years later,
Hmm.
and now their children are like grown up and everything. That's how their paths cross, etc. And then it's like, hang on a second, then that means that their romance in college was in like the 50s. Who was dressing like that in the 50s? Like what is happening over here? The art direction is completely wrong, the costume is
Hmm.
completely confusing. Rocky would never be allowed to wear the kind of clothes, her hair would never be allowed to be loose. Like she should be in the kind of saris that you see Nargis wear in her movies, with like the very conservative cotton saris, and her hair should be in a choti. And like she should look very like good girl from the
Hmm.
50s. And it makes no sense
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. And
Mm-mm.
for someone like Yash Chopra to make such a rookie mistake always puzzles me, because I know Vakt is not his film. I know it's like BR Chopra, whatever. But still, you don't see those mistakes in Waqt. And so I don't understand, was no one in the cast capable of saying, question, is this the 50s? Because they didn't dress like that in the 50s.
I know.
It always throws me off.
It's
But like
really
I've seen this
frustrating.
movie enough times that I'm like, this is so dumb. But I'm like, fine, whatever. But it always throws me off.
Yeah. Yeah. I was also, okay, so first of all, it is really something to think that this is the film immediately after Duar, because it could not be more different.
Hmm.
And for that, I salute him. I think that's great. But, and obviously, when this film came out, it was not a hodgepodge of all his other films because those hadn't happened yet. But
Hmm.
in retrospect, I feel like he's trying a few things here that he's going to then go on to do in other films, but also he has already done, because, for example, the obsession with engineering has already appeared in Admi or Insan, which is 7 years before this.
Right.
Uh, the film that for me this is the most similar to is Silsila, I
Yeah.
think, and I just the how similar they are with the couples in the trees and all this stuff. Like I just I'm like, man, I just saw this, which is
Yeah.
not this movie's fault. It's just, mm. So it's almost like this is a Yash Chopra sampler platter.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
had a hard time dislodging that for myself, and I couldn't get myself into it. Like, but those films haven't happened yet.
right. Well, some of those like civil engineering scenes also like gave me Kala Patthar a little bit.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
that scene where Amitabh comes out of the Jeep and he's wearing like the denim on denim and
Yeah.
his why is everyone's shirt so unbuttoned? I'm like, do y'all not have like the manual dexterity to close your buttons? But anyway, like when he comes out and he's like looking all grumpy, and I was like, wait, Kalapathar. Yeah, so I know what you mean. And there's scenes where Amitabh is like in those coats with the fur collars, and then Rocky in like the leopard, which I
Yeah.
loved.
Yeah.
It
Very
reminded me of like
stylish.
Mumtaz and everyone. And
Hmm.
then with the middle parted long hair,
Hmm.
and it like some of those long shots, especially of Amitabh and Raki embracing under the chinar trees, it's very Amitabh and Rekha embracing in the
Very,
winter
yeah.
in coats in Salsala. So I
Except
mean,
the other way around. But yes, that one is
right.
more indelible to me somehow.
Yeah, but you can see his stamp all
Hmm.
over it. And that's actually something that I find very comforting about Yash Chopra movies. I like when a director has like a specific visual stamp where I know this is what a Yash Chopra movie looks like visually, art direction wise, set wise, costuming wise, makeup wise. Same like I know I'm not getting a Feroz Khan film. In a
Hmm.
Feroz Khan film, I'm getting also a specific look, but it's
Hmm.
not a Yash Chopra look. So I like how they are visually very distinct filmmakers, and like
Mm.
right from the get go, from the credits, I know whose movie I'm watching. So that I
Mm.
find that comforting, and like I can like settle in and be like, okay, I'm here for this ride. Um, but yeah, I think it works for me a lot. So I'm very curious to see. So when was the first time you watched Kabhi Kabhi? And then is this like your only rewatch that you've done of it?
I think this is my third time through, but it's been a
Okay,
long time. It's been at least 10
a
years,
big
I
gap.
think, since I've
Okay.
seen it. And I
So
would have initially, I believe, watched it for Shashi, who is not doing his best in this film.
Shashi, this movie.
Oh, he's really a lot in this, and I find him to be a lot in Trishul also. So those are, back to back here. It's kind of similar in Kalapathar too, but he's toned it down there. And I don't know if he and Yash were so good friends that Yash couldn't give him advice or something, but like, man, pull it back by like at least a third.
Yeah.
But his, jovial drunk uncle kind of, oh, it's a lot. It's a
Darling.
lot.
Oh, darling.
Yeah.
I call this
Yeah.
specific Shashi Kapoor, I call him Shashi Wee Kapoor. He gets all like helium
Yeah.
voiced. And if you think the Shashi in this is like, it's like, man, take it down a notch. If you think this is bad, you have to watch him in Roti Kapda or Makan,
Oh, yeah, I
because
certainly have. Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's like he has a completely different script. He's on a completely different planet
He's
because
like,
there's
I
the
do not
most,
truck with Manoj Kumar. I'm doing my own thing.
yeah, he doesn't belong at all
Yeah.
in any frame of that film. And it's so bad. And it's just kind of like, oh my God, you horrible petite bourgeoisie person, please stop. Like he's much more tolerable in this, I would say, compared to Roti. He's insufferable in Roti Kapra Aur
And he and
Makan.
Rishi as father son make a lot of sense in this
They
movie.
do.
Like you can, maybe that's what Shashi was doing too, was trying to be like, okay, well, I know how my nephew is as an actor. I'm gonna like mirror that and make it the grown-up version of that or something. I don't know, but I don't care
Apparently,
for it.
Shashi is the reason that Rishi got cast in this film.
Sure.
So, and I think they look like father and son.
They
Like
do.
it
Yeah,
makes so
it
much
works.
sense to watch them together. It works, yeah. But yeah, Shashi is a lot in this film,
He's the weak link
and
in this to me. Like he's not it's not the worst, absolute worst, because I think what you're naming is probably one of the worst for sure. But this is and maybe because I like him so much, I was extra
yeah,
annoyed by it, but I did find it distracting most of the time. However, it's a great, when he is speaking seriously and
mm,
about negative things, the contrast is there and you're
yeah,
like, okay, well that establishes. And he starts off well because that wedding night scene is really something.
yeah.
It's a real that's a toe curling, interesting
Hmm.
sequence there, and he does really well with that with
He's so
Rocky.
beautiful
So
in that.
beautiful and like as far as we can tell, right, as far as we know, if you didn't know what she was going through, you'd be like, absolutely yes, And
Yeah.
obviously it works because the next morning when she's taking her shower, she's real happy.
Yeah.
And I put on Blue Sky like a before and after photos. I'm like, this is what your Suhagrat with Shashi Kapoor will be like. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is a
Right.
documentary. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Right. She was like 10 on 10. Love it.
10 on 10. Got this for the
Like,
rest of my life. Way
that's
to go.
that scene from Honeymoon Travels Private Limited where Amisha Patel is writing, like, is she writing a letter to her best friend or is she writing in her
Her
diary?
mom, I think. But yeah,
Oh,
something like
and
that.
she's all of something about like da da da, my honeymoon, la la la. And I'm like, yeah, that's what Rocky would be doing too.
Hmm. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also funny because like when I see like Shashi and Amitabh together, it's like they're so different. And that scene when she's getting married and Amitabh, the camera pans to him and he's like just standing quietly brooding under a tree
Hmm.
and just watching the goings on. And then I was like, you won, girl. You got Shashi Kapoor, not Amitabh. You won.
This is one of the things I do really like. So there are a lot of components of this that I like, and I should say that like they didn't cohere.
Mm,
It's not that they were incoherent with each other, but to me they weren't adding up to a thing that I was enjoying. But there were
mhm,
segments and components. And that's one of them. I'm like, if she's as happy as she seems to be in this marriage, thank goodness she didn't marry this other guy. And
mhm.
also, he's awful throughout the whole film, basically. So,
He's a
whew, well
lot.
done,
Like,
Rocky.
I know Shashi is annoying in this movie, and I personally assume that his character is this annoying because he's almost always tipsy. Like,
Absolutely.
have we
Oh, yeah.
seen Shashi sober? I don't think Shashi
Very
is sober
functional
ever.
alcoholic here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's even a scene where he wants Parikshit Sahni to have a glass of whiskey or whatever with him. He's like, no, I'm with my patients. Like, I'm a working doctor, And he's like, you're a Kapoor and you don't want to drink. Like he literally says that. Um,
Yeah.
it's like, yes, Shashi's character is irritating because he's so ebullient to the
Hmm.
point of really taking it very far. It's like a very irritating energy after a point.
Hmm.
But I would almost take that over Amitabh's
No doubt.
misery, absolute misery just radiating off this man constantly. Like I
Yeah.
look at him and I'm like, what is your problem? Like,
Like, oh, your college love didn't work out. Wah. Like,
like I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that that happened. It is now time to move on. But no, you get married, you marry the absolutely wonderful Wahida Rahman, which, first of all, Wahida Rahman is a goddess, okay? And you got to marry her. You should be at her feet, worshiping that woman as I would. And instead, you're such a jerk. You're married to her. You have a wonderful business which you inherited from your dear daddy, Iftikhar. I cheered when he came on screen.
oh,
I was
yes.
like, yes, Iftikhar in his coat, being all like serious and wonderful. And like you're financially well set. You're still known by the one book. I was like, is he Harper Lee? Is this To Kill a
Right.
Mockingbird? Because he's only written the one poetry book. And she's
Yeah.
like, he's my favorite poet. And I'm like, that better be an amazing poetry book.
Guess so.
But and you have a child, you have everything you could
Yeah, he
ever
seems
ask
happy
for.
as a dad, at least. So there's that.
Yes.
Although some parenting
Sweet.
has I think slipped through the cracks or something here because that child is also very annoying.
She's a demon, is what she is, Beth.
Yeah.
But it's like, what are you so miserable about? What is your problem in life? It's
Yeah.
like, it's just so toxic. The man is so toxic. And I feel so
Yeah.
bad for Vahida to put up with him. Also,
She seems pretty beaten down, doesn't she?
she does.
Yeah.
That is not the Vahida I know and love who always has like a spark in her eyes. She seems
No,
tired.
very.
She's like, I have made a life with this horrible man and this demon child, and I don't know what to do with
Do
myself.
you think that she had to hand paint those chair covers that say
Yes,
daddy and stuff? I that would
yes.
do it for me. I'm like, I this
And
marriage is
yes,
over.
well, that and knitting all day.
I mean, I knit, so I'm fine with that. But the yeah, those chair covers are just so awful. I laugh every time I see them. Like we all talk about the hats from Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, but I'm like, let's take that back a notch and look at they
Yeah.
don't quite say
So
boy, but they might as well.
I was actually thinking about how, people always say like Amitabh Bachchan is like angry young man, angry young man. That's the epithet like people always use to describe him. But I actually think that to me, he's even more iconic as the bad, no good, very terrible, horrible, awful
Mm,
husband, right? And
hmm.
I off the top of my head, literally within 2 seconds, Beth, I came up with 5 movies, and I'm sure there's so many more.
Oh,
I came
wow.
up with 5 movies where he plays a terrible, no good, awful, awful, toxic, terrible husband.
Let's
Okay.
hear him.
Starting with Saudagar, which is his
Sure.
debut film, where he's an absolutely terrifyingly bad, parasitical,
Mm,
exploitative person, husband to the absolutely angelic Nutan. Okay, so
right.
like the first of all, that is a very big strike against you. Secondly, and now this is a trifecta of Jaya Badri movies, poor Jaya Badri. Okay, so we start with Abhiman, where he cannot take the fact that she is a better singer than him and she's more popular than him, because how dare she, right? Because
Mm,
there can only be one star, and that is him, and she cannot be a star. So he has a problem with her in Abhiman, and he's awful to her. That the next movie, again, Jabadri Silsila, where, how dare she? Yes, he married his brother's like widow. Would
hmm
she count as his widow? I don't know, whatever. But he marries her. But of course, he has to like be such a martyr about it. And God forbid she ever forget for one day of her life the great sacrifice that he had to do by marrying her. So then he's awful to her in Silsila. Then he's also terrible to her in Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum, as we know. And
mm.
all this woman does in Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum is cry. Of course, he's terrible to everybody in that movie, not just to her. So it's I will say he's very democratic in his awfulness, but really it starts with being like awful to her, and then to everybody else also. And then what is that other movie I read? There was one more. Oh, and then there's Kabhi Kabhi, where he's terrible
Yeah.
to Vahida. So I'm like, so basically, it's not just that you're the angry young man, it's also that you are the world's worst husband cinematically, and no one should ever marry you on screen.
Mm.
So yes, that is my TED talk on Amitabh Bachchan as a husband. Nobody marry him, please. Marry Shashi, because then you can have the Sohagrat of your dreams,
Right.
and then don't marry Amitabh, because then you'll want to like fall off one of those bridges or like dynamite yourself a la Kala.
Right. 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 The other person that I find disappointing in this film, and I think it's the character, but I'm
Mm.
having a hard time, is Neetu Singh, whom
Ah,
I love, as regular listeners will know I love. But her brattiness is really cranked up. And while I do think it suits, again, it suits Rishi, but he's not
yeah.
really the point here. She's
Hmm.
a more interesting character than he is.
Yeah.
And her, just this, the fact that a two-thirds of this movie is put in motion by the fact that she runs away, not to go meet her birth mother, but live with her completely unannounced, let alone
Yeah.
consented to. And you're like, this is cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
And it's cuckoo bananas at a level that it is a little jarring. Not to say teenagers or, she's about 20, I guess.
Hmm.
Not to say that they don't do cuckoo bananas things, but everyone lets her.
Yeah.
And why doesn't Wahida say, it is a shock to hear from you. I would like to get to know you, if that's true. Here's some money for the hostel down the road, or like
Mm.
anything. Like it's cuckoo bananas. And I was really frustrated by, because then also, she starts out as a brat and then you see her kind of humbled, which I also don't like. Now, no one yells at her or anything, but and then she has to witness her fiance being a complete ass to her and to this other girl who's in the house. And like, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just again, Yash Chopra is a messy bee.
He is.
It's, it's I don't know. This is a weird script. Obviously, he did not write the script, but this is a I'm I don't feel compelled by the various stories here. I'm kind of like, why did we want this to cohere and like be made, and what are we learning, and what's the point?
I like the Neeta Singh thing, because like I agree she's absolutely insufferable,
Mm,
and clearly very, very spoiled. Clearly her parents have never said the word no to her, and they
mhm.
clearly dote on her, like she's very much the center of her universe. But I kind of like the fact that when she goes to Wahida's house, she essentially sees how obnoxious she's been
Yeah,
in the face of Sweetie. Like, this
yeah,
is you. in
Yeah.
that house, and now you see how absolutely god awful you are. But I also feel like it's interesting because so many times I feel like women characters are either absolutely saintly and wonderful and, all sacrificing, or they're absolute bees.
Yeah.
And it's so rare to see someone who has like flaws. Like, I don't need to be friends with Neeta Singh. I have no interest in being friends with that character. I
Yeah.
don't want to be friends with Sweetie either. They're both god awful. But I feel like people like that do exist,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's people that do that, and it kind of like makes sense with her upbringing. Like, this is not a practical, sensible, logical, rational person. This is a person who has never heard the word no in her life. And so when she finds out that her birth mother is someone else, her immediate thought is, I'm gonna go find out who she is, and she's gonna love me, and I'm gonna love her, and I'm gonna have my new mommy. And it's so immature and weird and poorly thought out, but that's kind of what that character would do.
Yeah.
I just don't see this character bothering to go the sensible way and writing a letter. And I just don't see, I see her showing up at someone's door and just being, because there's that level of entitlement that, by the
Yeah,
way,
that's
her
true.
parents raised her with, right?
Right.
And also, that's how the story goes forward. So I kind of like that. And then also the fact that Bahida tells her like she can stay there also makes sense, because I don't get the sense that Bahida has ever made a single choice in her adult life,
Could be.
given
Yeah.
given who she's married to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I mean, I love Vahida, but her character here is such a pushover. She's between this horrible husband and this bratty child, and it's like this. And she probably does want to like get to know her birth child.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the whole thing. I like when a script gives a girl or a woman to like behave badly and
Yeah.
behave
That's true.
stupidly, because we let men behave
All
stupidly
the
all the
time. Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So why can't she behave badly? Again, do
Yeah.
I want to be friends with her? Absolutely not. No,
Right.
thank you. But I think it fits with her character. It also fits that neither of her parents actually like stop her. These people have no willpower. Like, you think Parikshit Sani as Simi Gorewal. Simi Gorewal. She looks like a little baby bird in this movie. You
She
think she's going to
does.
be able to stop her? No.
Like he's a
So
doctor, just like jab her with something and make her stay. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But you
that
know,
sounds like the Feroz Khan version of medicine.
if Feroz Khan made Kabhi Kabhi,
I think it would be great.
the
Kabhi
the
Kabhi on
the
the Western
climax would
Front.
remain the same,
It would. But there
which
would be a lot more smoking.
I completely forgot about how this movie ends.
Yeah, the end is very dire, and there's a lot of fun. That it starts lagging at that point where it
Yeah, it
definitely.
doesn't it doesn't I very much take your point about Neetu Singh's character, and I this the so I'm happy to give that consistency, but like this is like, huh? Just hang on, you're gonna make Trishul in just a sec.
Right.
And Kalapatar, they're coming, they're coming.
I know.
More explosions, more
But
explosions.
I also like the idea that this movie explore. Okay, so there two things. One, I like the idea of Yash Chopra said that he got this idea because he was thinking about what happens when two people are in love in like college or whatever, and then for whatever reason they can't get married
Hmm.
and their paths diverge, but then years later fate brings them together. I think that's such a cool concept.
Hmm.
I think that's really awesome, and I wish that that was explored more in Hindi cinema, because again, we talk about how Hindi cinema acts like you can only fall in love in your 20s, or you can fall in love in like your teenage, or you can fall in love with your 30s. Somehow people turn 40 and there's no such thing as love anymore for them,
No such thing.
right? No such thing. So there's no romancing, no dating, nothing. You just shrivel up and become a husk of yourself when you turn 40. We know this,
Mm.
right? So I love the fact that in this movie you can still have. I like the idea that you can be Rakhi and be happily married to the man
Yeah.
that you are married to, and still there's a part of you that there's a part of your heart that beats for the man you knew in college. I
Hmm.
think that's a wholesome idea. I like the idea that
Hmm.
you can love two people at the same time, and you don't have to like try to like put a number on it, or quantify it in any way, or label it in any way, and it's okay. It's fine to care about someone and care about what you had with them, and also have like a lot of regrets mixed in with that, while at the same time really loving whom you're with. Clearly a message that Amitabh does not understand, because Amitabh is all
Right.
or nothing. He just loves her and that's it. I don't even know if that's really love. It sounds more like ego to me, but whatever. So I like that notion of people crossing paths years later and just being like, I still have feelings for you. I'm not going to act on them, but I still have those feelings. And there's conversations that were unsaid, and I would like to have those conversations again.
Mm.
I think that's mature and sensible, and that probably happens to a lot of people, right? I don't know any other movie except for Kabhi Kabhi where that happens, where
Mm.
people still talk about that, right? So I think that's pretty cool and pretty nuanced. And I like that. The one thing I have never understood about this movie, again, is I still did, and I would very much love to hear what your theory is. I have no idea why Rocky breaks up with Amitabh Bachchan and goes and marries Shashi in the first place. Because first of all, there's a little bit of foreshadowing where they're under the tree and like hugging under the tree in the snow, whatever, as one does. And she says something like, um, he says something about girls fall in love with one person and they get married to another. And what are your views on that or whatever? And she's like, I don't know. Are you testing me? Or are you questioning me or what? And her caginess and her refusal to answer that, I'm like, girl is sus. And then one day she just like tells him that, oh, she's getting married to this other dude. And I'm like, there is no conversation whatsoever about her saying something like, you know how orthodox my parents are. They
Right.
will never allow me to marry you because you are from, I don't know, XYZ community that they don't approve of. Or um, we are wealthy and you're a poet and there's no money in poetry. And so, I ain't going to marry you. I'm going to marry this engineer person or architect person, whatever. No justification whatsoever. She's just
Yeah.
kind of like, well, my parents, I'm like, do you have no agency whatsoever? None. And then, so I don't know, is her character just supposed to be someone who is so like almost like practical and, dare I say, heartless, that
Mm.
she literally has this mindset of, I'm in college, there's this hot brooding poet that I have a crush on, have an affair with him. It's going to be a great spring fling or summer fling or whatever. And then I'm going to marry a rich dude
Right.
who my parents choose for me. And that's that. And that's life. Live with it. Right.
Yeah.
Is she that girl? Or
Yeah.
is she that girl who is such a coward and she's so passive that she can't even be bothered to say to her parents, just by the way, there's this guy I like. Why don't you meet him? Maybe you like him. Let's give it a shot. I don't know. I have no idea what her character
Yeah.
is about.
Yeah. To me, it's always, I've just assumed the sort of the first that you're talking about, like that she knew there was someone else in line or in mind for her
Mm,
by her parents. And because I
wow.
don't get the sense that she's a pushover anywhere else.
Yeah,
Because
same.
when we meet, and we don't see her between the wedding and having a 20-year-old son. So
Yeah.
there's 21 years of character development particularly for her, that we don't get to see, which is too bad because yeah, that could have been used to answer some of the questions
Hmm.
that you're talking about, because she's got a career, right?
Hmm.
She's a TV presenter of some kind, over the
Interviewer or something. Yeah.
journalist or something like that, right? And that seems to be
Hmm.
fine. She seems really happy. Yeah, so it's hard to say, but yeah, I really like the idea of her kind of knowing going into this that it wouldn't ever go super far. Um, and maybe that it was a bit of a gamble in the first place, right? Because she's like all going up to him to get his
Yeah.
autograph and everything like that. She didn't
It's very
necessarily think
fangirly.
that this would happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun to imagine her kind of
But that
her
almost
actually holding the cards on that one. Yeah, I don't know.
but that almost makes her worse in my eyes, because I
Mm,
can kind of understand passivity or I can understand cowardice or
right.
something. But imagine playing with the feelings of a person. It's almost like you know the rules of the game and he
Yeah.
doesn't,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
he's clearly very much more emotional than he is, very much more intense. He's a freaking poet, for God's sake. And he writes all this emo poetry, right? And like,
Mm,
you gotta know you're gonna like stomp on his heart. And on some level, I almost then wonder, like, you know, the way his character trajectory goes, where he just becomes this absolutely miserable shell of a man, how much of that is just a broken heart, and how much of that is just losing faith and trust in people,
Right.
right? Like feeling like you were played with, like you were
Hmm.
someone's plaything,
Hmm.
right? And maybe that also would explain some of his reluctance or reticence to reconnect with her, and then for her to 20
Hmm.
years later just be like, here, I'm interviewing you, and let's get to know each other better. And he's kind of like, kind of don't want to, like,
Yeah.
you're not very nice.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's good, and I like that in Silsila there's more explanation given as to
Right.
why splits happen,
Hmm.
um and the power of them continuing, obviously, and not actually splitting forever.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, but that is a good point about this is a thing that's missing in this movie.
Hmm.
And while it's interesting that I guess the emotional journey of Neetu Singh's character is probably the heart of this.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
mean, Amitabh kind of pulls it together there at the very, 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 very end when he's thrown his wife out and oh, so angry at him over that. Character is so awful. Um, and it takes the potential sort of suicidal mad dash of his daughter to snap him out of his I've been injured,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I don't think we don't spend enough time with him after that to see if learning and growing has happened. Whereas I think you're right that we see Neetu Singh as soon as she's in their house start to realize what she's been like. And then eventually, of
Hmm.
course, she is like, I can't believe what I did to my adoptive parents, to the people who actually raised me. I'm so sorry, this kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
I know.
does she deserve to have to watch Rishi,
No,
act like, and I'm not sure what he thought he was doing.
I don't either. He certainly seemed to be enjoying flirting with Sweetie
Yes,
as much as he was.
very
Like those
much.
points where he's kind of like, well, she's all over me. And I'm like, I wonder why that is.
Right,
Is it maybe
right,
because you're leading her on, Rishi?
right.
But I also feel like on some level that makes sense with his character, because I mean, he's not like a properly fleshed out character
No,
anyway, but
no.
he's a playboy,
Yeah.
and he
Which
is
I
like,
get the sense is what his dad was like, right?
yes.
Because he says multiple times, like, I had relationships and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just get the sense that he's like a good looking, like handsome boy who plays the guitar, comes from money, knows he doesn't need to study because he's going to inherit his dad's business or whatever, and just kind of like
Although
this
his dad's
trust
an
fund baby.
architect, so like you gotta train for that.
Yeah,
That depends on skills that not everybody has.
that's
Immediately
true,
from the
but
get-go, it's not like, oh, he takes a year to run the business into the ground. He can either make a building or he can't.
yeah, exactly.
I would
No,
think.
but
He
some
draws
of
a
that,
house like with a like a little kid does, the like triangle on a box with a little
the
chimney.
music room in that house will be very big,
Oh,
okay? And
yeah.
there will be like a
Stables.
revolving, yeah, and there will also be like a revolving thing so he can wear his silver sequin jumpsuit
Right,
and
right, right,
sing
right,
Om
right.
Shanti Om. So
Right, right, right.
as an architect, I feel like he would be a good one.
He would add a lot of design features.
Yeah. He wouldn't design homes like his dad does, or
No.
hotels like his dad does. Who would design like discos or like nightclubs,
Which is another way this could be a Feroz Khan film, and I want the Feroz Khan version of this movie so very
right?
much. We'll never have it, but I really want it.
If we were like really rich, eccentric old ladies, I mean, we are eccentric old ladies, but
Mm,
we're not rich. So at least
no.
some of the conditions are being met. But like, okay, so if we were like these eccentric rich old ladies, you know what we could do? We could have like a scholarship for people, like for filmmakers, where we give them a topic and then everyone has to make a movie on that topic, and it would be
Ah,
so cool. And we would find like the budding Feroz Khan and the budding Yash Chopra and the budding like
excellent.
Anurag Kashyap.
Excellent.
Wouldn't that be so good? It wouldn't be Grey gardens, it would be like sequin gardens. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. I feel like Rishi's character just kind of, who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Raj Malhotra from DDLJ.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that boy,
Hmm.
just 20 years prior.
Hmm.
It's basically, and even his relationship with his dad is like Shah Rukh's relationship with Anupam Kher in DDLJ. It's that same like let's just be silly all day long and just like drink. Like our whole personality is making ourselves a drink and just like being
Right.
like chill and cool. And we're not fathers, we're our
Right.
son's best friends, and this like cockamamie like parenting strategy, and we just charm the world. That's what we do. um but I think he's just like this like playboy who's
Yeah.
cute, and he knows he's cute, and he gets attention from people, and he just wants to have a good time. And if having a good time means kind of sort of two timing your girlfriend slash
Beyonce.
fiance and making her jealous with her half sister, he gonna do it.
Fine. It's fine.
What's she gonna do? She's gonna blow his cover. She's not gonna blow his cover because that would blow her cover. So I
Right.
mean, I can see his character doing that because he's such a rake. He's
Yeah.
extremely charming. I will give him that. Like even when Rishi Kapoor is being a rake, I can't help but be charmed by him. Like Rishi with those curls and his fashions in this movie.
That
I
that
love his
sweater with
red
the
cap.
like pixelated houndstooth is, I think, my favorite sweater he ever wears in any
So
film.
good.
It's
So
so
good.
cool.
Also, he has this one shirt that he wears that's like a bright red, like
Yeah.
eye-searingly bright red with like flowers on it. They look
Yeah.
like bluebells or something, and like tight jeans. And I was like, man, you pretty. And then even the way like the songs are picturized with him and Neetu, like Tere Chehre Se and everything. I mean, I had forgotten how amazing Rishi Kapoor is in song sequences. The man knows his angles. The man knows how to give his like most photogenic face to the camera. He's so good. And I know that like in later years, because of like Govinda and Hrithik Roshan and stuff like that, and Shahid Kapoor and stuff, our definition of like good dancer changed
Sure.
drastically. But to me, I would rather watch Rishi cavort in the snow with Neetu, or that amazing song, like that kind of like nightclubby vibe song, which is Pyar Kar Liya To Kya. I would rather watch that kind of dancing than that very like regimented, like
Mm.
dancing that they do now that is completely soulless. And I was just really charmed by him, even though I disapproved of him.
I've been looking at the film fairs for that year. This film did
76, you
well in
said?
some ways. Yeah, so the film fairs in 1977 for the year of 26. This did not win Best Film
Okay. Who
or
won?
Best Director. Uh, Mossam won and Gulzar won for that film.
Oh, I've seen Mosam. It's very good. It has Sharmila Tagore in it.
Mhm.
It's
Uh,
good.
and Sanjeev Kumar won Best Actor, and Rocky won Best Actress, but not for this, for Tapasya, which is not a film I know
I
anything
have not
about.
seen Tapasya.
Um,
What did Sanjeev Kumar win it for?
he won for Arjun Pandit.
I don't know what
Yeah,
that
I
is
don't know
either.
what that is either.
Okay.
Um, Amitabh and Shashi were both nominated for Best Actor and Supporting, and Rocky was nominated for this. Also nominated for Best Actress was Rena Roy from Noggin.
Ah,
Like
yay!
what a year that this and Noggin
I
both
know.
came out. Like, and since we've already done a Noggin episode, we will not have to do its 50th birthday, but I will try to make a note
Right.
of it in my calendar for my own personal joy. Wahida Rehman was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this. Shashi was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So really it's all over the place. It got
So did
an
it win nothing at all?
no, it did. It won Best Music Director,
Ah,
Best
Khayyam, yes.
Lyricist for the title song,
Sahir
Best
Ludhianvi, okay.
Playback Male for the title. Um,
That's Mukesh.
it is Mukesh, yeah. Those are it, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so mostly music awards, which is interesting.
I mean,
Um,
I feel like I don't know if this was nominated or not, but I feel like this movie potentially should have won for best costume design. I don't know who the other nominees were because I think Rocky's costumes in this movie
they
are
really are great, right?
amazing. I love her outfits in this
Um,
movie. There are so many outfits she has worn in this movie that would still be gorgeous today. Like specifically, there is a ivory what looks like organza or chiffon garara she's worn with like
Mm.
multicolored chic work on it. And oh, she looks so divine in it. I love that outfit. I love the yellow outfit she wears the first time we see her when he's like reciting his poetry, whatever. I love her saris in this movie. I love Simi Garewal's saris in this movie. She basically only wears chiffon or georgette and has these like hand painted flowers on it. I really enjoy Neeta Singh and Rishi Kapoor's costumes in this.
Hmm.
There's a costume Neeta Singh wears in this that makes me laugh so much, but I love it so much. I call it the Victorian ghost costume. It's the white outfit she wears with the really billowy sleeves
Oh yeah.
in that song that the three do,
Yeah.
and her hair's in pigtails.
Yeah.
I love that costume. I don't know why. It just makes me happy. She gives Elven Fairy in that song.
I love Shashi's plaid all the time, and I
Yes.
do believe his wife did the costuming for him for this.
Oh yeah, she
She
did.
does do some of the costumes anyway, so
Yeah.
I assume that's Jennifer's handiwork. Um, it doesn't look like they gave a costume award this
Oh, at
year,
all.
and that they
Okay.
weren't doing those yet, if I understand. But when you go to
Oh,
the Wikipedia entry for best costumes for film fairs, there's like they start and then they stop for a long while and then they come back. So I don't know if
okay.
Wikipedia is incomplete, or I know there's a film fair website where you can go and look, but
Yeah. The
um
only person whose costumes I don't enjoy in this movie is actually Vahida Rahman, and in a way, it makes sense because I feel like her character is just so freaking
they make her
miserable.
very dowdy, don't
They make
they?
her so dowdy.
Her
First of all,
hair, I
her
don't know what they're
wig,
doing to her. Yeah, it's really bad.
it's so bad. And Vahida is one of the most gorgeous women to have graced Hindi cinema. And I was like, y'all did her dirty. I don't know
They
what
did.
happened. Yeah. No, her costuming was very bad. And they have this like crochet shawl they give her. I was like, what is
Yeah.
she supposed to be 80?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
does she have a white crochet shawl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not nice.
Yeah. It works for the character, certainly. Like it
Hmm.
communicates about her, but it's not
Yeah.
pleasant to look at. What is pleasant to look at is the amazing house that Rocky and Shashi live in, which I have behind me here on, if you're watching this on YouTube, like look at this red exploded sphere light thing. And then like this red and black and white textile framed above their bed, which I think appears in another room as well. Their bar is ridiculous because of course it
Oh
is because
yeah.
he's drinking all the time.
Yeah.
She gets these amazing patterned pieces. He's in plaid. Like these are people who have like an interest in the visual,
Yeah.
visual design and everything. There's another like batik or
Hmm.
like tie-dye kind of textile
Yeah.
on their wall. Like it's, but the walls are white, but like everything
Yeah.
else is really, and they do like red. There's a lot of red in this
There's
house,
so
which
much
is
red.
really interesting.
There's a lot of red in the costuming also, like especially
Hmm.
with the younger generation. Like Rishi
Hmm.
has worn at least a little bit of red in every scene he's in. If at least if only his rucksack or his cap, like there's always some red. And then Neetu has worn a lot of red as well.
Hmm.
Also, I was looking. I saw this movie on my TV because a lot of Yash Chopra movies are now on Netflix, and I took a closer look at some of the books that are behind them
Oh
in
yes, what did
you're
you
in.
find?
A lot of the books are actually on architecture and on painting and art. So it was very well chosen, whatever whoever did the art
The ones
direction
I
they
noticed.
chose.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It-
You totally look like you fit into that living room. Like you need to like transport into it and
whoop.
like be between them.
I'm not getting between these two. They've got a good thing going on. Yeah, this is a bit of a, I don't know, it's a bit of a want for me,
Yeah.
but it's not going to stop me from enjoying other Yash Chopra films again, or of course, or anything like
Right.
that. But this one, yeah, I was frustrated a lot. But after
Mm.
hearing what you've had to say, I'm sure next time I watch it, I'll probably have a better time of it. But or maybe I just need to use the fast forward button more judiciously or something. Since there are parts I like, maybe I should just sort of
Yeah.
make my own little supercut
Yeah.
of this and
I didn't
kind of
really
look.
fast forward this much. It was just like at the very end with that like very long climax scene that I fast forwarded. Other than that, I was fine with it. And I knew I wasn't going to fast forward a single song. I mean, I
Yeah.
fast forward the one song. I don't like that lullaby, Mere Ghar Aayi Ek Nanhi Pari. It's so saccharine. Oh my God. Also, I was like, for the record, your child is not a pari, she's a demon. That song should be Mere Ghar Aayi Ek Nanhi Asur because that's what she is. She's an Asur. Um, how awful is Sweetie, by the way?
She's really awful. And listeners, if you have not caught this before, Pitu and I are both only children, so only
Yes.
daughters. So we know a little bit about Sweetie's likely world and Pinky's, right? Like there's a
Yes.
lot of there's two only daughters in here
My
at the
grandfather
least.
used to call me Pinky when I was little, just FYI.
There we go. Um, so yeah, I like her at first because she's vivacious and
Yeah.
carefree and whatever, but then you realize it's because she's got her own little like I think it's just a bedroom on a lower level, but it almost seems like she has her own wing of the house, down
Yeah.
there and everything. So I think
It
that
looks cool.
they're not
It's so
they're
villain
not
lair.
actually paying enough attention to her. It is kind of villain lair. Yeah, I agree. And it's very groovy down there and
It
everything, but it's
is.
just they're not doing her any favors by how they treat her, and neither are Pinky's parents,
Hmm.
clearly. And neither are Rishi's parents, honestly. Like the parenting in this movie is not great. And
It's very
this
bad.
is a thing I've brought up before in other films, and apparently I will continue to do so. But yeah, she's a little bit of a demon, and I don't blame her for not understanding that Rishi and Neetu are together. I really
Oh no,
don't,
I don't
because
blame her.
they're both obfuscating it, particularly he is. Um, but her, dramatic response and to how her parents and Rishi are behaving at the end, and like, I don't know. It's just,
She very much fits that trope that you and I were talking about, where I think you were watching Sabse Bada Khiladi, and you said
yes.
that Akshay Kumar has just referred to Mamta Kulkarni as Paise Wali,
Yeah,
and
she's a
then that led to like a long WhatsApp
Yes.
conversation that you and I had about. So Beth and I have this theory that, well, it's not a theory, it's an observation, is that
Yeah.
anytime Hindi cinema wants to like talk about like there's this particular character she's always an only child. She's always from a rich family. She's always god awful and obnoxious. She's such a brat. She always
Yeah.
has her own car. People are giving these girls like driving licenses when they shouldn't.
Hmm.
They probably like
They are often horse
bribe people
girls,
for them.
not
They are
always, but
often horse
often.
girls.
This one's a
Yes.
horse girl.
They definitely have good fashions. I will
Sure.
give them that. They have good fashions. And they have a gigantic attitude and a chip on their shoulder. And they're very much like Papa Ki Pari. And they don't have a lot of IQ cells, unfortunately. And I don't like the ends they meet in these movies, because frequently they encounter some person who is not a pesewala, and he's of course our hero, and then he's gonna like whip them into shape, which usually is incredibly misogynistic and
Incredibly
awful.
misogynistic. Yeah.
And it's just very like Taming of the Shrew. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I have met so many awful people in my life who are not only children. So I
Right.
resent this
I
accusation
know. I
against
know.
us. We do not behave like this, Beth.
We probably need to watch more Chinese films because of, famous policies about one child. Like, well, people
Yes.
have hopefully gotten over their anti-only child
I know.
stigma.
Such
I don't
an
know.
anti-only child stigma.
I
So
don't know.
bad. People are always like, oh, they're so selfish. I'm like, we are not. How dare you? And then I proceed to run them over with my Jeep because I am a Pesivali.
You are Amrita Singh.
I am Amrita Singh. And I remember on WhatsApp we were having this conversation where I feel like the epitome of like only child Pesewali, nose up in the air, she's gonna grind you into the ground with her like high-heeled boot, is Amrita Singh. She
Absolutely.
just channels that energy from the get-go,
Mhm.
from Betab with her beautiful mane of hair. That's what and she's a horse girl also. But what I always find interesting is like Simi Garewal, whom I adore, let me just say, how is it that she, with her extremely rarefied, like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, Queen's English accent and her pearls and her, pearl clutching, and she's so proper, how is it that she does not give off that vibe? Like she actually comes across as extremely wholesome. Why?
Yeah, she does. I don't know. I don't know.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She should be obnoxious, but she never is.
No.
She's just fancy
Yeah,
in a
she's fancy. Well, and
non-obnoxious
then
way.
she's dealing with this husband who let me make sure I've got
Oh,
this
I don't mean
straight.
just in this movie. I mean in
Oh,
general,
in
Simi
general.
Garewal. Yeah.
Let me make this see if I've got this straight about this movie
Mm.
though. So Neetu and Rishi are at college
Yes.
in Delhi.
No, they are from Delhi,
Okay.
but they are in college in some extremely snowy city, which I presume
Oh,
is
that's
either
right.
supposed to be Srinagar or Shimla
That's
or
right.
Manali. I know
Okay.
the shooting was done in Srinagar,
Okay.
but
Okay.
like it doesn't snow in Delhi, so it has to be a
That's
much
true.
northern
Okay. Okay, good point. Good point. All right. So th that negates my question. So that's good.
Okay.
Because I find his reaction to his daughter going away to college to be silly.
Yeah.
And my parents missed me when I went away to school, and I was only 3 hours away by car. So it wasn't that, and we had telephones, obviously, and email and things, but and I
Girl,
don't,
I moved from Mumbai,
right.
India to America to do my master's, and my
Yeah.
mom did not behave the way that either Parikshit Sahni or Simi Gurwal do. My mom was very normal. She was just like, make sure you call me often. And
But
I was
wait,
like,
she
sure.
has a little brother. She's not an only child.
Wait, Neetu Singh has a brother
Doesn't
in
she
this
have a
movie?
little brother? Oh no, it's the servant
No.
she accuses of moving the stuff around in the
Oh,
house.
yeah. No, she's an only child. We also don't know how they adopted her.
Right.
Like, we just know that Wahida's
But Wahida clearly knew
betrothed.
who did it because when she introduces herself, she says who her adoptive parents are, and Wahida's like, "Oh no."
Yeah, Dr. Kapoor. Yeah, but like how? I wonder, like, did Wahida have her baby at Dr. Kapoor's nursing home or something?
Let's hope so. But that would
Because
add up
he's a
nicely.
doctor. So
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if
Mm-hmm.
she was like, yo, you want to take this baby? And
Right.
he's like, sure.
That's how that works.
In
We
lieu
know.
of medical fees, I will take this baby. Maybe that's how it happened. I
He's
don't
like,
know.
I have to because otherwise my wife is gonna go steal one from the beach, and everyone's just
Yes,
gonna look the other way, like in that Shabana movie.
I know. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, that was like they were definitely very overwrought. Um, I was just kind of like, your child is such a brat. Like, given that she's away
Hmm.
in college, aren't you just enjoying the peace and quiet? Because she came and
Right.
now again everything is like up and down. Like literally
Daddy, daddy, daddy. Ah, I'm gonna get my tape recorder and I'm gonna throw things across the room. Oh, girl.
so exhausting. Clearly, this is not
So
a person who's ever
exhausting.
had like a summer job or anything like that.
No,
I come from a
no.
military family, so if I had behaved like that, I would like be rapped on my knuckles. You don't talk like that at my home.
It's a lot. Everyone in this movie is a lot, with the exception of the wives. The wives are fine.
Yeah.
Rocky is not a
I
lot.
feel like
Wahida is
Rocky's
not a
very
lot.
normal.
Hmm.
Wait, that
She is.
cannot be a lot. Poor thing.
Yeah.
She's too downtrodden into her home by her horrible husband and child. Simi's not a lot. Like
Did
she's
you love
fine.
that we got our little Air Force sequence for no reason at all with Wahida talking about her backstory? Like, man, the
Again,
man's got
Sisala.
his things. Yep. Yep.
Well, another thing from like Silsila was the scene where Rishi, not Rishi, Shashi Kapoor and Amitabh are on either side of Rakhi in the Jeep
Yeah.
too. Like that also was
Yeah.
giving me, and he's loudly like making jokes and singing and stuff. And it reminded me of the scene from Silsila where he's singing Niche Pan Ki Dukan, Upar Gori Ka Makan, Zara Jhum
Hmm.
Jhum Ke, and he's like all drunk and everything. It reminded me of that. I was actually, my husband was watching Kabhi Kabhi with me, and he said, I don't think there's a single scene in this movie where Shashi Kapoor does not have a drink in his hand. It's,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah,
so.
it's either like he's made himself like a whiskey, or he has like in one scene he has a beer, but he
Yeah.
almost always has a whiskey in his hand. And there's even a thing where someone says ki mere drink ka waqt ho gaya hai or something.
It makes you wonder what his architectural designs are like.
I mean, they're probably very groovy because he doesn't do anything sober.
He keeps it loose.
He does. Just very groovy and loose. Yeah. If you it, what would you say this movie is about if you had to? Because
I thought about that and
I
I
don't
didn't,
think it's a love story.
yeah, I don't think so either. I think if I'm being generous, I think it's about learning that not everything is about you,
Mm,
which applies to Amitabh and Neetu primarily.
mm. That's an interesting perspective,
And
actually.
that's if I'm being generous. And I think that's a great thing to make a movie about.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think that's one of those, this is a life lesson that I feel like am at the age of 51 beginning to get my head around, like as someone
Mm.
who takes things personally a lot when there's absolutely no reason to, because most of people's stuff is their own stuff and it's not about you at all. Even if you wish it were about you, it's not about you, right? Like they are not returning your call because of something that has nothing, they're not mad at you, they just have other stuff, like whatever, right? So this I think that's a lovely idea, and it's not one that I feel like comes to the fore in movies a whole lot that I can
Yeah.
think of. And like you said, it's not in a romantic way. It's not like, oh, be less selfish or be less self-centered so that you can love someone else and receive
Mm.
their love. It's not for that. It's like for your own betterment, just as a human, to realize that other people have backstories and needs and loves and all these kinds of things, right? So it's kind of a make yourself a better human for
Yeah,
the
like
sake
he
of
does give that tearful apology to Vahida,
he
which I was like, yeah,
does.
that's right. You apologize to her.
Yeah, he does. And like
Mm.
she, I think now we don't know a lot about her, I think.
Mm.
So I might be kind of filling this in, but I feel like she also, she is someone who has gone through something difficult.
Hmm.
I'm not clear on whether she's super sad about it or not, but it's certainly a decision not to be done lightly and everything, right? And she
Hmm.
has grief,
Hmm.
but she has, created a new life for herself with this man and her daughter, and that
Hmm.
seems to be going at least okay. Like she doesn't seem as happy as say Rocky does, but
But she also
um
doesn't seem miserable.
no, she doesn't seem
Yeah.
miserable. So like, and she doesn't seem to have turned in on herself
Mm.
in grief or self-pity or anything like that. Um, and Rocky, if we're being charitable, does learn to put aside this college love for whatever reason that we talked about, right? And she moves forward with her life. Um, Shashi seems pretty okay when he learns the backstory
Hmm.
of Rocky and Amitabh, right? Like he's kind of pensive about it for a little bit, but then he's still okay and manages to ride a
Hmm.
motorcycle into a flaming forest to help save some children, um, some 20-year-olds. Um,
All while drunk.
yeah, him doing the like motorcycle lead, and that's clearly him on a motorcycle at parts, and
Hmm.
you're like, what is this movie? I'm so confused. Um, so I don't know if Rishi learns anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. Those kinds often don't. But yeah, so yeah, if I'm being, I don't want to say if I'm being generous because it's there, but and that would be an interesting thing to try to market a movie around, right? Or something
Mm.
like that. So, but again, if I want to see it, I feel like the title kind of suggests, sometimes it's not about you.
Yeah,
Sometimes other people are also complex, or
right.
whatever. Um, So I
Yeah.
that's what I came to after watching it this time. And I did sit and think about this for a while because it's not like this is we've talked about this before. Yash Chopra is shorthanded to be about romance, and he's really about so many things, and that's really selling short a
Hmm.
lot of his work.
Hmm.
And yes, we love Sri Devi, but that is the effect of her in his films. I think that that's how we think of him, and recency bias. But
Yeah.
he makes films about a lot of things, and they're
Hmm.
often extremely well made and interesting. So, and this is interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what I think this movie is about. I think this movie is about generational trauma
Mm,
and like how your parent because so many times in this movie characters talk about their parents and not
yeah,
wanting to let their
they do.
parents down, and things like that. Like we hear Amitabh talk about it, we hear Rocky talk about it, we hear Amitabh and Iftikhar have a conversation about it. We have Rishi Kapoor say to Neeta saying like, oh, you're just going to abandon your loving parents who raised you just for this like random woman that you don't even know. There's so much, like even when Amitabh like scolds Sweetie, oh, hi, Mr. Yuko. So cute. So I do think like some of it is about like generational trauma and like what do your parents owe you and what do you owe your parents and stuff like that, like sort of like a rumination on that. But I think also like the takeaway for me personally is that this movie is about what choices you're going to make. Like it's kind of like shit happens, stuff happens. Sometimes you love someone, it doesn't work out, you don't get to marry them, or maybe you had dreams of being like like a poet laureate or something, and instead you are running your dad's business because he's an only child too, by the way. Amitabh Bachchan is an only child because that's what Iftikhar says to him. So and you can either have a good attitude about it and try to build a good life for yourself and make do with the cards you're dealt, or you can just kind of be a jackass about it and be miserable and make everybody around you miserable. So it's kind of like, I think a better life strategy is just deal with the cards you're dealt and try to play the
Hmm.
best hand you can instead of just
Hmm.
kind of moping about what could have been.
And
So it feels a little like that.
I like that idea and like kind of forward motion and the happiest person in this movie is an architect. He's a builder,
Mm,
you know?
yeah,
And granted, I think that's kind of just his nature is that he's
yeah.
sunny, but it's not because he takes things too lightly, I don't think. He's just
No.
I think a lot of things have gone well for him in his life as well, but like he seems, to have a cheerful disposition more or less.
Yeah, he certainly like invests in his relationships far more than Amitabh does. We see him
Hmm.
really doting on his wife, and so
Hmm.
she's happy, and because she's happy, he's happier, and their whole home is happy. He clearly has friends, like the
Hmm.
Kapoors. Dr. Kapoor and his wife are friends of theirs. He has like a social life.
Hmm.
He has a good relationship with people. He has a good relationship with his son. I mean, the person who makes really good decisions and choices in this movie is Shashi, and I think sometimes because Shashi is just being really overly garrulous and ebullient and we're like, oh my god, enough, please take it
Yeah.
back. I think we can mistake him as being silly
Yeah.
or not being intelligent enough,
Yeah.
whereas the brooding intense Amitabh is like the smart one.
Hmm.
But I think Shashi hides that sort of wisdom
Yeah.
under that very cheery facade, but it's
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
you're underestimating him when you think he has no depth. He does. He's far deeper a
Yeah.
person and character than he's given credit for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, except in Roti Kapra Makan, where he's just wee.
Different film, different director, different everything.
Okay,
That
so
was
if you
fine.
had to pick a husband or wife from this
Oh,
movie, whom would you like to be married to?
Rocky.
Oh, she's so pretty and lovely and wonderful, and she'll sternly
She
gaze at you
seems
from her glasses.
well adjusted. She seems
Yeah.
interested she's interested in literature, which is great. She's got her job. She seems pretty content, I
Hmm.
think.
She has a great wardrobe, also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
You?
cool. Probably Shashi.
Yeah.
He's so happy. We would be
Yeah.
such an obnoxious couple together. We would just be like, wee all the time. He'd be drunk all the time. I'd be caffeinated all the time. And people would look at us and just turn around. They'd be like, do not mess with these people.
Does he work from home?
No, but he's where the bar is.
Yeah. So if he has an office that he's at a lot, that would help.
I think he probably does like a lot of site visits though.
Hmm.
So I don't think he has like an office. Maybe he just has a home office and then he has to go like for site visits and stuff.
But can
Okay.
you imagine if you're at home and he works from home and you're hearing like have to overhear all his business calls? That'd be so annoying.
I mean, it's Shashi. He'd probably make them entertaining though,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, he's fun. Okay. Who would you like to have a torrid affair with?
No, Shashi.
No, that's a duh
That's always going to be
question.
the answer. Mostly.
I would probably have a torrid affair with Rishi
Ah,
because he's
for
such a bad
dancing?
boy.
Mm.
The dancing, and I would probably at some point convince him to wear like a really tight sequin jumpsuit,
Oh, I'm sure.
and he would oblige. We know he would oblige because he's such a hoe. He's such an attention seeker. So I would have a torrid affair with Rishi, and then go right ahead and marry his uncle. Okay,
That'll show
which
him.
of yeah, that'll show him exactly. I'd be like, whatever. What's goose for you is what's fine for you is fine for me. Which of these people, male or female, do you want to be friends with?
Oh, Rocky again seems good. Simi seems good.
Okay.
Um, you wonder what Wahida would be like if you get her
Hmm.
away, if you get to see her away from her husband, like
Yeah.
if
Get
you've
her to
got
talk.
kitty party or whatever, like
Mm.
does she sort of liven it? Does she kind of get some sparkle or whatever when he's not
Is she
around?
allowed to go though?
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem like that kind of husband, but who
Yeah.
knows? She might feel like she can't do things. I don't know, but
Mm. No, I definitely want to be friends with Vahida because Vahida is like my girl crush of all time. So I would want to be buddies with Vahida, except she wouldn't want to be friends with me because like every time I hung out, I'd be like, girl, you gotta leave him. Girl, leave him. I just encourage her to leave him all the time. And then she'd get tired of me and she'd consider me a toxic friend. So like, but like I want to be friends with her.
Right,
It's just the friendship
right,
wouldn't last.
right.
Um, okay, so who would be your dire enemy in this movie? Like, who do you
Rishi,
absolutely despise?
Rishi.
Oh,
Yeah, ugh, hey, ugh.
So you
Because
and I could not be friends while I'm having my torrid affair with him because you would hate him so much,
I mean, I
but
would
you
do a
would
lot
just
of girl,
nag me.
you've gotta,
Yeah. You'd be me with Wahida. Hmm.
right.
But see, I'm not going to marry him. So
Right.
our friendship would break because of this, right? Like,
Oh
because I'd be
no.
like, ugh, that bad. She's such a naysayer. And then I would go marry
Oh
Shashi,
no.
and then you would be fine. But aren't you married to Shashi as well? A great bigamy. Wonderful.
No, I'm married to Rocky
Oh, this is true.
somehow.
Okay, then it's fine. Okay, then we can rekindle our friendship.
Great.
And then
Good,
you
good,
can
good.
be like, oh, I see you've dropped your loser
Remember that
boyfriend.
time?
I'd be like, girl, you were right, but you know what? I was just playing with him.
And you and Rocky would bond over your like college day, you know.
Yes. We would share like hair care secrets.
Hmm,
We would have
I
a
like
book
that.
club. I would convince her to read horror books, occult books,
It sounds great.
Yeah, she'd probably try to get me to read poetry, which I don't unless it's creepy.
Right, right.
Um, okay, nice. So your enemy is Rishi in this movie.
I think
Okay.
so.
My enemy is definitely Amitabh because I want to break up his
Yeah, that would be
marriage.
choice number two. Him, I feel like at
Yeah.
least you could talk about poetry with, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, Rishi just seems like shallow and
Again.
annoying. Yeah.
Okay.
And neither of
Great.
us are going to have anything to do with Neetu or Pinky or Sweetie. So,
No, no. There's enough only children on this podcast that we don't
right.
need to deal with them. Okay, who do you want to go into business with?
Oh, Iftikhar.
I was just going to say it's Iftikhar because I love Iftikhar. I
He
feel
seems to
like
have set up something
Iftikhar,
good. So,
yes. Also, Iftikhar is smart. He is shrewd. He is no nonsense. You
mm,
know, the accounting will always be legit with Iftikhar. And
hmm
also, Iftikhar will bring like wisdom and gravitas to
hmm
the table, and I'll just bring the vibes.
hmm
Like, I'll be like the personality partner. He'd be like the real meat of the company. He'll stop us from going bankrupt. And I'll just like raise money. I'll be like the
Nice,
fundraiser part of the
nice.
business. But yeah,
Putting the fun in
wonderful.
fundraiser.
Yes. You, me, and if the car can go into business together, wonderful. That's great.
Great.
Fabulous. Okay. Do you have any lasting, I mean, any other comments about Kabhi Kabhi, or should we close this out?
I am looking forward to seeing what think pieces come out in the next. So we're releasing this a few weeks before the 50th anniversary, which is February 27th. So as the month rolls on, I'm sure there will be things to read about this film, and I look forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That concludes this episode of Filmy Ladies. I'm sure you guys have seen Kabhi Kabhi. If you have, then tell us in the comments what you think about it. Also, tell us whom you would have a torrid affair with, whom you would befriend, whom you would marry, who's your sworn enemy, and whom do you want to go to business with, and any other category you can think of. And we will see you next week on Filmy Ladies. Bye.